Yes, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yes, I am Philip Mendy, a member of the Gambia College Media Club, and we have some questions for you as to the issues that are ongoing in the school year, especially School of Education, the Gambia College. So first, we would want to know you in detail.
Okay, thank you so much. I am Saikou Bojang, the current Education Minister for Student Teachers Association, STA.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable. It's a pleasure meeting you, and we will directly go into the main thing here, and that is the memo issue that many students are facing in the Gambia College, and that is the students who are supposed to go for their teaching practice, whereby we see some having their memos and some are not having their memos. So what is the reasons for this?
Yes, there are a lot of factors that are embedded in this. If we don't come out and explain, some students, especially those that have their memos lately, they will not understand. First of all, we have different factors. Like, first of all, is the TP registration. We realize that some of the students fail to follow the protocols, that is the rules that we are governing this registration, and also the late payment of the school fees, that is the tuition fee. So these two things really were challenging. They are challenging issues that cause to the late release of memos to students. So starting with the late registration, we realized that most of the students that did not register properly, their memos were not issued, even if they paid 13,000. Because they will come to the office and say that I paid 13,000, but yet still I don't receive my memo. So what we did as a council is to try by all means to gather all the informations. At first, we went to confirm their names because they came and said that they paid 13,000. We create a voucher where they should write their names. We take that information to the accounts office to verify whether really what they said is the truth or not. Then we later realized that yes, most of these students, they paid 13,000. Then now we said to ourselves, then what is the problem? Then we took that information to the ICT department, and then later realized that their registration was not successful. So even if the memo is out, they would not see their name because their information is not with the ICT department. Secondly, that is the late payment of the tuition fee. We all know that is a great challenge because students, the time they receive this information, it was almost during the end of Ramadan. So by this time, most of the students exhausted their funds. So that is why some could not pay at the stipulated time. So this also gave us a challenge because students are stipulated by the administration that if you don't complete your tuition fee, that is a $13,000 for your first semester, you will not be given the memo. So those students that could not complete that tuition fee were victims. They could not have their memo. So what we did as a council, our president, that is Edward Sakou, have negotiated with the president or the vice president of the GCSU, and they went to see the principal. Thank God they have a negotiation, and the principal later understood with them that he is going to come down to 9,000, that students that paid 12,000, 12,500, 11,000, 10,000, 9,000 will be given an undertaking. That is a form that they need to fill and later take it to him back for him to approve. So we did that. Then after, most of the students were able to get their memo through that. So after filling that form, they take it to the accounts. Accounts will just process it. But along the line, we'll also try to cross-check to see. Because even some of these students that are filling the undertaking form, when they take their information or that form to the account office, we as the executive, especially the education ministry, with my committee members, will also take their information to go to the accounts again and see if their names are under the TP list. If their names are not on the TP list, we will also try to create a template where we write their names that those names were later submitted to the TP committee. So these are some of the challenges that we face, that is the late payment of the tuition fee and also the improper registration on the teaching practice.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable Education Minister. But what triggers me here is like the students in their acceptance letter, it is being written that they should pay 50% of the tuition fee, and they should complete the rest if they complete their first year. But right now, it's like they did not finish their first year. They are just in the last trimester of their first year. So why should the admin make it a force to them to complete it before going for their teaching practice when it was not that way in the acceptance letter?
Yes, in the acceptance letter, it was indicated that you need to pay half of your tuition fee to start. That one is to start. But you should also pay the remaining balance before your exam. I believe that part also should be made clear to us. The half of your tuition fee is to enable you to start your program. You see, then later before your exam, that is your first year, third term exam, you should be able to complete the first year tuition fee. So, in fact, what triggers this thing is because of the administration. We realized that the college accounts were running red. So that is why they made a lot of consultation and came to this conclusion that the students should pay their tuition fee. If not, it's going to be very challenging on them to run their affairs, because we realize that lecturers also should go home with something, that is to give them their salaries and other things that the college also need to take care. So this is what in fact prompted them to come with this decision to attack this condition to the issue of this memo. Though it was challenging on our side, and for us as student leaders, what we can do or what we should do is to negotiate, because that one, every student leader, you have your own jurisdiction and you also have your boundaries. So the tuition fee, that one is something that is agreed between the students and the administration, because as a student, when you are coming to an institution, you should know that, well, I need to pay. So, but for that, we have a limited say on that. So the only thing that we can do is to try and negotiate with the administration to tell them that, well, these are some of the problems that our students are facing. Right now, we don't think they can pay, but you can give them time so that they can at least devise a way on settling this tuition fee, which we did. And yet still, we realize that around 400 students are there, about 400 students that still don't receive their memo. We are, in fact, currently, I was from discussing it with my president, that is Edward Sakou, STA, that we'll be going back to the principal again to inform him that, well, yet still, there are some students who paid less than 9,000, because though some paid 8,000, still some paid 7,000, and others paid 6,000. We still want to plead on your behalf to understand the students and give them their memo, so that when they come, before they start their second semester, you can make them to pay before they start their semester. So maybe tomorrow we will try and see the principal with regards to that, and we are very optimistic that inshallah the principal will grant us audience, and he will grant our wish, inshallah.
Okay, thank you so much. But my other question would be like, since some left for their teaching practice and then some are still not yet able to receive their teaching practice memo, which is like a guarantee for them to the schools that they are posted in. So now what are some of the measures that you take towards the teaching practice committee or any other committee in the Gambia College here, whereby lecturers would be released to go out in for observation, as some are still behind?
Yes, with regards to that, I just had a meeting with Mr. Keta, who is the head of the TP committee, with regards to that. Because what he told me, he said that he is trying to draw a timetable for the lecturers that are going on teaching practice. So that is why we want to, in fact, rush everything to make sure that all the students that we have that are affected to go to receive their memos the soonest, so that they can also now concentrate on how to send in lecturers to observe these students. But the lecturers, the students that receive their memos lately, we also discuss on their issue that they will be not victimized. They will not be victimized. Here, if you go, even if, for example, you arrive just today and the lecturers come, you'll be given time to be observed. And the students, the lecturers that are going on teaching observation rather, they are aware of the situation that is currently going on in the Gambia College here. Wrongly. Because I think I work on a case whereas a student paid around January, I can remember. So he came to the office saying that I paid 13,000 but my memo is still not out. Then I took her information. I told her that, well, now you can go home. I will make sure that I find the root cause of this problem. Upon arriving the accounts office, then I realized that her name was not cleared. So this was a factor. Another one also, we are also working on her case, because that one also, he said that he paid 13,000. Then we took his information. We went to the accounts office. I think there are many. Then we went to account office to confirm whether they paid that amount or not. Then we realized that yes, they paid that amount, but what happened was their names were not part of the TP committee. So if their names are not part of the TP committee, anytime the ICT develop a link and send that link to the TP committee and to us, their names will not be there. Because what? Their names are not part of the TP committee. So this is the problem. But now, how do we solve the problem as Education Ministry or as STA? We collect all their information. We were given a template by the TP committee. We take that template, put it in this. This is a laptop that we are in fact using to work out all those problems. Then after we put all their information, their names, their GC, their school of choice, and their whatsoever, we then send it to the TP committee back again. Then the TP committee send it to the ICT, and it was installed in the system. Then that is why yesterday you can see most of those students that have a similar problem, they were cleared because of the work that we did. We put their names and we send it to the TP committee, and the TP committee worked on it. That is why they were able to have their memos yesterday.
Okay, thank you so much. We really appreciate that, as it is a job well done. But my final question to you would be like, what do you say to the suggestion that you are being called and text to with regards to these memo issues and you ignore those messages?
Well, maybe students will misunderstand. But like in most cases, at times, when I am on a call, calls will be coming in again. At times I'll be receiving a call, I see another call will come in. So what I normally do is I'll not cut off the call that I'm on, I'll leave this one. So in case I am talking and finally the one I am talking with, I was able to finish my conversation with him while this other call is going on, then I'll receive it. But in the situation whereby I have a long conversation, meaning that person will call and thinking that I don't receive his or her call. But that is not the case, because me personally, how I operate, when you call me, I don't receive your call. If I have time, I return your call back. I normally call you and ask, yes, how may I help you? And also, though I am very busy, because you can all be a witness, when I am here, I'm running helter-skelter from office to office to make sure that this memo issue is solved. But along the line, you see me when I'm going, I will be with my phone. I will open, especially the text messages, I will reply. The voice messages, I will reply. So I was doing that. But I know others will call, they will not read to me. Also, others will call, but it will not connect because of the network. Because my phone will be ringing and I will be on communication throughout. So what I also want to inform students, it doesn't mean that I am not receiving calls. I receive every call that comes that comes to my phone. But like if you don't get to me or I don't receive your call, don't feel like I don't want to receive your call. But you can call back again, because yesterday I in fact have a similar scenario. a student called to lodge a complaint, but by that time I was on phone. I have seen that call, but like I was also communicating with another student. After that call after she got that call, then she texts the president Edu that I call your education minister, but he did not pick it. Then the president forwarded that message to me. When I finished my call, I saw that message. I called the student back. I told her that, well, but I inform you that, when you call me and you don't get me, you have to call back, because the time you were calling, I've seen your call, but by that time I was also on a conversation with another student. So these are some of the things. Yeah, so I would want all the students to know that due to the busy nature of my phone, don't feel like I don't want to receive your call, because I am there for you, the student. So if I don't receive your call, meaning me being here is fruitless. So please, I am appealing. If you call and I did not pick it, you try and call again, or you send a message, or you send a voice. Because normally, if you send a voice, I will reply. If you also send a text on WhatsApp, I will reply. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. And right now, it's like you are trying to tell me that all this memo issue will be solved within a while.
Yes. Yeah. We are very, very much optimistic that this memo issue will be a tip of the past, because yesterday I discussed with Mr. Kieta that he in fact want everything to be settled before tomorrow. So thank God we were able to settle a lot of students, because today the students that we received, they are just few. There are less than 10 that came to lodge their complaints. We already take their information. I already processed it already. The ones that have an issue, like their memos are not in order.
Yes, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yes, I am Philip Mendy, a member of the Gambia College Media Club, and we have some questions for you. But before then, we would like to know you in detail.
I am Edward Sakou, the president of the Student Teachers Association.
Okay, thank you, His Excellency. It is a pleasure to meet you here. And with that, we would like to ask you questions as to the Year 1 students of the Gambia College School of Education. And with this, it has to do with the memo issue of the Gambia College. We have seen students, some have their memos and they are doing their teaching practice, which is part of the school curriculum, but we have seen others who don't also have their memos. And with this, we will want to know some of the reasons for this.
It is said, once you see a situation, know that there is a propelling factor. There is always something that triggers actions to be taken. The memo saga actually started when the college cannot pay their bills. So the college decided to see ways they could recoup areas that are owned from students. And then I had meetings with the relevant stakeholders involved in this. And then they said that students owing should pay their fees before they go to teaching practice. Because if you look at Year 1, they have barely 6 weeks to complete their first year, because the program ends in July. And currently we are in May, then we have June, and then July. That's when the program ends, that's exams. So they are saying that the annual tuition fees should be paid within the year, that before students were left to undergo their program until when they are completing, that is when they're expected to pay, that is when they cease their attestation for them to pay. But now, the authority is saying that they want their money in order to pay their bills, in order to settle the staff they are owing. They don't want the staff to go on industrial strike. And then MOPSI, being also stakeholders, have not been paying for the in-service. So the college is solely depending on the pre-service students to run the institution. So that is why the pre-service were very unfortunate they were asked to pay before they would be cleared by the accounts. Subsequently, the teaching practice committee before they go for their teaching practice. These were the main reason why this time around we have a difficult situation, because it is a condition that you must pay your complete tuition fee before you are allowed to go for teaching practice. However, my administration has been able to negotiate with the principal, and then this negotiation yielded dividends. It was from this negotiation that we were able to at least convince the principal to bring down the payment mode up to 9,000, and then sign an undertaking to be paid latest on or before July.
Okay, but Mr. President, don't you think it was too prompt onto the students as to when they are told to must pay this thing before this amount before they will depart for their teaching practice? Because as to other interviews we have with other students, they told us that it was like some few weeks for the students to have their memos to go for their teaching practice. That is when they were being told that they should pay the full amount, and that has to do with $13,000 before your like you said, you intervene before your intervention. So with that now, and it was like few weeks from the quality we have, and then with that many families have spent. And we know in the country we live, 75% are very poor to say, or maybe they are needy household. So with that, don't you think it is too prompt onto them as to when they told them, when it was not given or written down in their acceptance letter in that way?
You see, you look at the prevailing circumstances. We understand that the country is going through economic hardship. That is fine. But then your coming to the college was a decision you've taken. And you were clearly told that an amount of 13,000 has to be paid before the completion of your program. In this 13,000, you are allowed to pay 50% before the commencement of the program. You agreed. You paid 50% to commence this program. And then the other 15 should be completed before the exams. Well, I do admit that a communique should have been given, but we actually did that too. 3 weeks before the teaching practice, before this condition was arrived at, I was called by the authority responsible to advise the students to pay their tuition fee, and we did that through the STA platforms. We asked students to, you can reference the messages, we asked students to, we advise them to pay their tuition fee, and if they do not, it might attract some challenges as to when will they go for their teaching practice. But a good number did not turn out until this condition came in. We feel for them. We are actually in office because of them. And then I want to let them know that whatever we do not do, let them know that it's impossible for us to do. But whatever that is possible and it's within our capacity to do, we will definitely do for the interest of the students. They are the main reasons why we're here. But there are some cases that you cannot challenge. There are some cases you cannot challenge. You can only plead, because we know that the subvention from government is not enough to run the college. The college is partially privatized, so as a result, they pay their bills from the proceeds or the income that comes from the students. So if the college is saying that their accounts are red and students are owing, there is little we can do. What was best for us to do was to engage them through negotiation, through dialogue, and we have done that. We were successful. We were able to bring the 13,000 down to 9,000 and arrange a flexible payment. You go to the principal and sign an undertaking, and a good number has been signing this undertaking after paying up to $9,000.
Okay, thank you so much for that. We really appreciate that. But I would also like to ask you another question, and that has to do with since the memos of the students have been delayed. So, what do you think, or what are some of the mechanisms you are taking towards the teaching practice committee as to the lecturers who would go on to observation? As we can see, some students are even yet to report to their schools for teaching practice, and as to previous years, we see lecturers just few weeks after the students have departed, they will also go on observations. So, what are some of the measures that are taken towards that too, as some memos are still delayed?
Yes, the delayance of the memo, you have factors responsible. Some students do accuse us that we are not doing enough. They've paid their 13,000, they have been cleared and yet to receive their memo. Okay, payment is one of it. But also we have some students who wrongly register. So if you wrongly register, you find it very difficult to receive your memo because your name will not appear in the TP list. So if your name does not appear in the TP list, you won't be able to access your memo even though you've been cleared by the finance. So those are challenges we faced. You can pay the whole 13,000 and still not be cleared if there was an error in your application. So this information goes to the dashboard. So this dashboard is controlled by the ICT. So ICT links, if your name is not there, even you are cleared by finance, the memos they will receive, your name will not appear. So you would have to do a manual registration in order to get it. Fine. The TP committee knows perfectly well that they have not yet scheduled all the students. And they will not embark on observation if all the students are not posted. So students are just difficult to deal with, but if not, they should just relax and calm down because we are aware that we have about 300 students that have not gone yet for TP. We have the database, we have the statistics. So we have engaged the principal lecturers and we've put our concerns to them. So they are holding on yet. They are holding on. That is why this observation would be a bit late. Yes, and the teaching practice also is in two phases. You have the first phase and you have the mop-up team. So they are putting up logistics. Even if the first phase goes, a mop-up team will later be sent for those who will receive their memos late so that the mop-up team can observe them. So with regards to observation, they don't have issues. Even if they receive their memos 1 week to closing, they should be observed. They should be observed. And the lecturers are aware of the current circumstances.
Okay, but did you also make some inquiries as to they will wait on them, or you only just hoping that they will wait on them?
They may not wait. From next week, they would also have to start work because the rainy season is coming. But be rest assured that even if you are posted to a school just a day before their arrival, you'll be observed on the day they come. Yes, and the move-up team will clear the rest of the students. So work has to go. If they also delay a bit, it might affect the thousand that have gone. You have about 1,600 and something, 13. What's 1,613? So currently we have 1,200 plus that are in the field. So if you have between 300 to 400 remaining, they cannot actually wait this. If you look at it in percentage, you have to go for the bigger fish, and the majority are currently on the field. So they won't wait, but the mop-up team can clear those that are yet to receive their memo. But we are optimistic with the pace things are going on now. We hope that by next week we should be able to clear about 200, provided that they've paid.
Okay, thank you so much. That was also good. And then my last question would be like, some said they have paid all the money that is needed to be paid and they have registered well, but until now they also don't receive their memos. What are some of the reasons for this?
Yes, like I told you earlier, this is what they keep saying. But when we go to the system, I personally verify with the ICT. The information wouldn't be there. For example, some students, if they are asked for their GC, they will tell you 462. 462 is not a GC. GC starts with 2. You have 4 digits before that we get into that 462. So if they just put the 462, their names will not appear. So there are technicalities, but to them, they believe that they have done everything right. But it's far different from the information we get and see in the ICT. So that is what is holding them. But we have engaged the ICT together with the TP. They're working to have that resolved immediately.
Okay, thank you so much. But then it could be like they were not oriented as to how they should apply for the memo.
Yes, they weren't oriented, but the link was user friendly. It wasn't so hard as well to use, because if you look at the time the link came and the time we took over, it was practically impossible to do that orientation. We took over at the beginning of the exams. So while exam was ongoing, we were also conducting, the link was also open. So these two processes were simultaneously going. And then we did not orient them on how to use or how to apply because there was no time. But then our office was open for any student who has challenges, difficulties to come and we help to apply. Even those without smartphone, because we have a system in the office to help them.
Okay, thank you so much for clearing our doubts. It is a pleasure to meet you, His Excellency.
Thank you very much.
This beat ain't normal.
And they call you, you know the answer. I say make I call you some more. Yeah, you leave me no choice, so very soon I go appear for your demand. And you had that tight dress on when I saw you last night at the club. Even though I had my dark shades on, I was looking at you.